Hello and welcome to SaltWire today for Monday, March 27th. I'm your host, Kate Walker. Police officers from around the country are in Edmonton today to lay two of their members to rest, one who grew up here in Nova Scotia. Constables Travis Jordan and Brett Ryan were killed in the line of duty on March 16th after responding to a domestic violence call. The Regimental funeral began at 1 p.m. local time today. RCMP from Nova Scotia as well as Halifax Regional Police officers were there.
Over the past 10 days, Travis and Brett have best been remembered for the uniform that they proudly wore and the ultimate sacrifice they made in doing so. While it's true that the uniform is a large piece of their identity, today you will learn how they were so much more than the badge that they carried. At the end of today's ceremony, each of you will walk out of these doors carrying a piece of their legacy with you. You will understand what drove these exceptional men to become police officers, and when asked to do so, willingly and unselfishly lay down their lives for our community.
35-year-old Constable Jordan grew up in the Annapolis Valley. The 16-year-old suspected shooter in this case also shot and wounded his mother before killing himself. An emergency alert related to a firearms complaint at an Indian Brook home last night was canceled after gunshots were ruled out. The suspect has also been released without charges. The alert came in around 7 p.m. for the Colchester County community and the Halifax area. RCMP had responded to a home in Sabaganagati First Nation, warning of a dangerous woman on foot with a handgun. Today, RCMP say the reports were that a 27-year-old woman was armed inside a home on Dowie Road and that she shot the gun. Around 4 p.m., RCMP secured the area around the home, but as the investigation progressed, they found out the suspect wasn't inside the home. As a result, they issued that emergency alert hours later. Around 12 a.m., the woman turned herself into RCMP. Police say there was no evidence that a gun had been fired or that she was in possession of a firearm. She has been released without charge. It's a sad moment for Acadian communities on the French shore as an iconic church, one of the largest in Eastern Canada, is up for sale. In St. Bernard, Nova Scotia on Highway 1 is where this approximately 14,000 square foot church is closing, a large chapter of Catholic community history. Built by local parishioners over a 32-year period, construction began in 1910 and was completed in 1942. Over 8,000 blocks of granite were used in its construction. They were transported by railroad and oxen from Shelburne to St. Bernard for a period of 20 years, 120 miles by railroad. At a time where the average house property on the Halifax Peninsula goes for nearly $400,000, this church is going up for just $250K. The price tag includes the pipe organ with 20 stops and 32 feet base pipes. Statues will be removed before closing. One farm in DeBert, Colchester County is producing millions of solar-powered eggs every year. The fifth-generation family farm, Bayview Poultry, has just over 1,400 laying hens, but its claim to fame is solar-powered eggs, the first in the region. Solar power runs the lights, and the body heat of the birds warms the barn.
I'm the fifth generation, and our family purchased this property in around 1890. The wind turbines were installed back in 2007, and of course I was quite a bit younger then, so that was the main decision between my father and my grandfather. And wanted to do something different, wanted to be better for the environment and whatnot, looking at a net zero solution to the farm. So partnered up with a company called Second Source Power, and that's who we got our wind turbines from, installed them in 2007. And anyway, they eliminated the power bills for the barn, and we were quite happy with them. As time went on, technology changed, and the wind turbines quickly became, fairly obsolete. So at that point, fixing them, ordering parts, it wasn't sustainable to continue to try and keep them going. We were looking at renovating or building a brand new barn, and at that time, solar seemed like the answer. So we built the barn in mind to be completely powered by solar. Then we partnered up with Sun-Kissed Energy, and our whole property is now powered off solar.
It's time now for a glimpse of today's Thinking Out Loud with Sheldon McLeod. Today, Sheldon is speaking with Ashley Cormier with Nova Scotia Health about naloxone kits that were missing the active ingredient.
And do you know if there were kits that were distributed that did not contain this antidote?
We haven't heard from any of our pharmacy partners at this point in time that any had made it out to the public. And so we're really hopeful that because of the quick action and rapid response by all of our pharmacy partners and our folks at the distribution site at McKesson, that we were able to contain those kits. We're in the process actually right now of collecting some further feedback from the survey or from the pharmacies that were involved to help to really narrow down if any kits at all made it out into the hands of the public. So we've been doing a lot of information back and forth with all of our pharmacy partners here over the last number of days.
And for Sheldon's full conversation, head to the opinion section of SaltWire.com. Time now for the Atlantic Sports Wire, presented by Scott Squires.
Grant McDonald started playing ultimate frisbee or flying disc back in high school. He's played Nova Scotia Juniors and currently plays for Red Circus Ultimate. And before we went any further, I thought it was important that Grant explains ultimate frisbee.
Sort of like football, 2 end zones. You have to throw the frisbee however many passes it takes to get to the end zone, and a score is just like football. You get it in, scores 1 point, and then there's kickoff, you throw it down, and then the other team starts from the other end. It's pretty basic as that.
What's it like when you're out there playing, and how important is communication with your teammates?
It's just like any sport. Communication is the most important. Everyone can't be in the same spot at the same time, so you definitely have to be on the same page. Throwers will kind of use signals to get people open, and cutters just do their thing. They run out there and hopefully make a good play.
What's the toughest thing physically about playing this sport?
I'd say running. There's a lot of running. The play seems to stop, but it never really stops, so you got to be on your toes. And there's a lot of good people that are good in the air too, so if you're good at jumping, it's a great sport for that.
Check out my full chat with Grant at saltwire.com and on SaltWire's YouTube channel. In Halifax, I'm Scott Squires for the Atlantic Sports Wire.
Thank you, Scott. On to weather now to see what's coming up in the forecast. We're going to check in now with our weather specialist, Alistair Alders.
Thanks, Kate. Well, that wasn't a bad weekend overall. We had that unsettled weather on Sunday, but really didn't end up with a whole lot of snow. Today was quiet. The sun was peeking out at times. And for the rest of March, we are looking relatively quiet, but not completely settled. Mainly cloudy skies are in the forecast this evening, with winds becoming light, and we'll see the temperature near 1 degree, and mainly cloudy skies throughout the day on our Tuesday, starting in the morning near -3 and then up to 5 degrees for the afternoon high. More opportunities for sunshine will stick around Wednesday and possibly early Thursday, and then we do have a cold front that will be moving through mid to late Thursday, likely with some showers, maybe mixing with a bit of wet snow. Overall, nothing too significant. The next system on my radar of any significance is expected to roll through on Saturday, and that is looking like mainly a rain and wind event for us here in Halifax. Kate.
Thank you, Alistair. That's all for now. For more extended video and full online articles, stay tuned to saltwire.com. And you can find us on social media. I'm your host, Kate Walker. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.